Hey, hi, hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess. I could go change my t-shirt, but I don't want to. So we're back. We're talking about books of DNF so far this year. I don't feel like the list is as long. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at what previous years had, but I have DNFs. These are at least the ones that I have kept track of. Some have more elaborate reasons than others. Some it just, no. So let's just start. Recently, my last video that I did about the Read Your Color, where you take the quiz, it gives you a color and then recommends books to you. That vlog will be posted. Well, it is posted, it will be linked. So I don't think that the quiz is that good. And so 3 of my DNFs came from that. And one was A Memory Called Empire. I barely got through the first chapter. So it's less the book and just me not being in the mood to try to force myself to read something I wasn't in the mood to read for that vlog. It is a book that I'd like to try at a different time. But yeah, I was already, was this the 4th book I was trying to read for the vlog, and already was just like not enjoying reading. So I gave up on that one pretty quickly. It is a science fiction novel. I can't really explain what it's about. I read like a page, maybe a page or 2. So that one is just one that I'll have to try at another time. Another sci-fi that was recommended was Ancillary Justice by Ann Leckie, and I read like 12% of this and I just could not get into it. At moments it would feel like I was understanding, and then it felt like I was reading it in another language. It was just such a strange, I did not like the writing style of that one, so did DNF that. And then The Black Tongue Thief by Christopher Buehlman. I was hoping this would work. It's a fantasy. It's like is it a heist? Or at least we have some thieves. Those themes have worked for me in the past, but I tried this with my eyeballs and audio and I just couldn't get into it. So I don't think I got that far into that one either. So those were all DNFs. I also DNF'd The Deal by Elle Kennedy. I tried to read this and then watch the show off campus. Yeah, no, the book was very well, it said 2015. I wasn't reading romance in that time, but yeah, reading it now in 2026, I was like, absolutely not. And DNF'd it. The writing, the characters, no. And then I tried to watch the show and I thought that was awful. Now, I am in the minority who thinks Heated Rivalry is overhyped. I thought it was fine. I don't think one of the actors is that great, and I didn't really get why everyone was losing their shit over it. But Off Campus was worse. The acting was terrible. The singing, and I love a musical, okay, but no, not here. I hated it, and I was like trying to force myself through it. The episodes felt like forever. I got through 2 and I was like, you know what, I actually cannot subject my eyeballs or my brain to this any longer. I thought it was horrendous. No thank you. I also DNF something else that's very popular that I have been seeing around, and it's called The Unselected Journals of Emma Lyon. I got the audio. They're very short. I was listening to it while I was driving and I just was like, why do I care? I don't know. It wasn't terrible, but I just was like, okay. Why do I care about these journals of her? Maybe as you listen, because I think there are several in the series, you get to know her, but it just was not inspiring me to want to keep listening. So I said, return to library. Okay. This one makes me sad, and it's not a complete DNF because I did return to the library, or my library hold ran out, but I have requested the audio to see if maybe I can finish it that way. And it's The Last Contract of Isako by Fonda Lee, who obviously wrote the Greenbone Saga. Now, this started out well because we basically have this like 50-year-old contractor, the person she's working for, something happens and her contract gets picked up by somebody else and they have this final job for her to do. So I was already interested. I like the author, it's like sci-fi, and we have an older protagonist. I was like, yes. But it felt like, while I was enjoying what I was reading, I was like, I feel like I've been reading for so long. I feel like I should be further than I am. And I was like at somewhere between 40 and 50%. And I'm like, okay, but this feels like the story is climaxing, like I should be at 70 or 80%. And so I was also talking to someone on Instagram who was reading it and kind of feeling the same way, and said that I think there is a POV switch maybe at like 50%, and tried to keep going, but she ended up DNFing it. So it just, like, I was enjoying it, but I still was like, okay, it feels like we're spending forever here, and where I left off, I'm like, how do I still have like 60%, 50-60% of this story left to go? So again, I'm going to try it when the audio comes back in, but I just don't know. I've seen some other people's reviews that they really thought the pacing was off, and so I don't know if I'm gonna DNF it again or not. But yeah, it started out strong, and then I was like, okay, like, can we make some progress here? Is Isako the best main character? She's okay. Like, she doesn't, I don't feel like I know her that well. She doesn't inspire super strong feelings from me that could, you know, really compel me to want to finish, but I am kind of interested how this situation plays out with what's going in the story. So I may finish it with the audio, but we'll see. That's to be determined, and I guess you'll find out at the end of the year. We're going to talk about the rest of the DNFs that I've had. These Heathens, I can't think of the author. I'll put it here. This was solely because I got the audiobook, and it's narrated by Bonnie Turpin, who I just do not like as a narrator. Like, I only tolerate her every so often, and I feel like I had just listened to, did I listen to an audiobook with her? She just is not my favorite. She unfortunately narrates a lot of audiobooks by Black authors. So I'm interested in this book, but I'll just have to pick it up and read it with my eyeballs, because I just don't want to listen to her narrate the story. Womp for me. King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby makes me sad. Have I read two? So I read Razorblade Tears. Was that the first one? And I loved that one. I read another one. I thought that was still really good. I didn't love it as much as Razorblade Tears. So then I read King of Ashes, which is his newest release. And I don't know. I was like, I'm just not caring about this story or the characters. I think they're just making really dumb decisions, and I didn't like the main character and like following him. And then I was like reading some reviews, and people had some similar things, and I'm not trying to say it felt similar to the other ones, but because obviously he writes in a certain genre, so things are just going to be similar themes, but I got to a point where I'm like, okay, I really don't care what happens to anybody, and like once I don't care what's happening to the characters, then there's no point. So I had to DNF that one. I was listening to the audio, and I think this is the same narrator for his other two, because I've only listened to them on audio. And while I genuinely enjoy the guy who does it, some of his voices for some of the side characters were just bugging me, and I was like, I'm over it. So I had to let that one go. Sad. Adult Braces by Lindy West. I only picked this up. I had never heard of this, or I wouldn't have heard of this except for all the discourse that was going on Threads. And I guess she has written previous books I didn't hear of, but she is a woman who is in a polyamorous relationship, and people were reading the memoir and then talking about the relationship, and then her husband, are they married? I think they are, was getting angry at some people's thoughts about the book and posting on Instagram, and it just turned into this whole mess, because his brother is also, her husband is the brother of Ijeoma Oluwal, the author, and then people were talking about her, and then she was making comments on Threads like, I don't know, like, stop talking about my family. And so I was like, oh, well, I need to know what's going on. And I put Adult Braces on, and it was just, whatever her writing style is too cringy for me. I was like, while listening to it, just grimacing. I was like, you know what? I don't care that much. So I had to let that one go back to the library. That's why the library is great, you guys. So many things you might try, and then you don't like it. I also tried to read Iron Flame again. Ray and Robin were like, you have to read Iron Flame and tell us what happened. No, I was supposed to read Onyx Storm and tell them what happened, but I never finished Iron Flame. So I was like, let me try again. And I did get further this time, but I just was like, you know what? I don't care. That is my thing. I mean, you have to make me care in most of these instances. If I don't care about the characters, then your plot has to be so captivating that I care enough to push through and find out what happened. But I don't in this case. And I know a few things about how that one ends, and like going on Onyx Storm and just hearing about it. I'm like, I think Fourth Wing was just like a one-time fun thing for me. I don't think I'm going to continue with the series because it's my second time trying to get through the audio. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to give it up. It's just not for me. I wish that the same fun and vibe that I had when I read Fourth Wing could continue through all of them, but it just does not seem like that's going to be the case. So it's just going to have to be a standalone in my mind. Fourth Wing was. The Favorites by Lane Fargo. This is another one. I was listening to the audio. It's like a full cast, and I don't think it's bad. I just like lost interest in it, and it's something I might finish. I don't know, but now it's been a couple of months since I was listening to it, and it's like an ice skating story, I think. But maybe, is there a mystery in it also? I can't even remember. I just was like looking back through my things. I was like, oh yeah, I did start that. And I don't know how far I got into it, but I stopped listening at some point and haven't gone back. I know a lot of people really love it, and especially the audio, and I loved, is it They Never Learn by Lane Fargo that I read several years ago. I thought that was really good, so I was like, oh, I'll listen to this one. Yeah, but I did read their first book with my eyeballs. Maybe that makes a difference. A full cast doesn't automatically mean I'm going to enjoy a book. I just know that, you know, sometimes that can make the audiobook more enjoyable when there's a full cast. But yeah, you know, maybe. Also, maybe not. And lastly, I'm very sad about this, but I DNF Braiding Sweetgrass again. This is by Robin Wall Kimmerer. I tried to read this years ago and DNF'd it, and we had a discussion about it. I know so many people love this. And then the book club I joined here, that was the first book that they were reading when I joined. And so I tried again, and I just tried with the audio this time, even though I do have the physical. And I was trying to listen to like 15 minutes a day. And some parts of it, I was like, yes, I really resonate with this and connect. And other parts, I just don't. I think the messaging of it is very important, and I appreciate that it exists and so many people have read it. But as a like cohesive novel, it does not work for me. I've tried, and it feels, and this is probably intentional, repetitive. Some of the stories, I don't know, I feel like my brain just kind of zones out. I can't focus. And it makes me sad because I know so many people love it, but sometimes a book is just not for you, or the way it's told doesn't mean I think it's terrible. Doesn't mean I don't agree with a lot of the things that she says. I'm just like realizing that one wasn't for me. And I know a lot of people love the narration, but it makes me sleepy. And I was just like, I don't know, it bores me. So that sounds so bad to say, but it's my truth. And those are the books that I have DNF'd so far this year. You know, it's not too bad. I'm sure there have been other physical books that I've picked up and just put down that I didn't track anywhere, that haven't made it on this list, but it is what it is. I sometimes will force myself through a book if I really, really, really want to know what happens. You know, if it's a book club book, then I usually try to read more than I would if I was just reading it by myself. But yeah, I believe in DNFing, and even if I bought the book, if I hate it, I hate it. And I'm not gonna read the whole thing because I spent money on it. I've already lost the money. I'm not getting it back. So that's that. But have you DNF'd, or what have you DNF'd this year? If you don't DNF, you should do it. I believe in it. I believe in you. There are so many books to read that there's no use in forcing yourself through something that you don't like. I'll DNF a book at 1% and 75%. I'll DNF a book at 85% or 7%. I don't care. If I don't want to read it anymore, I'm gonna put it down. And sometimes when I get really far into it, then I might just speed it up to hear some things, or I might just try to find a spoilery review to find out what happens. But yeah, I believe in DNFing. Question though, if you DNF a book, do you count it in your books read? I feel like this has been some conversation before, some discourse. I personally, for the most part, do not track them unless I got to like 90% and then I speed it up on an audiobook, or I just skim through it to get what happened at the end. I'll consider it read. But most of the time, if I'm DNFing a book, I don't count it as a book read. But I would love to know if you do. So here's to the rest of the year, and we'll see what else I DNF. But thank you so much for watching. Stay blessed, hydrated, moisturize, and sunscreen. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.